Imagine for a moment a sport where the playing field isn't a manicured pitch, but an entire town. A game without strict teams, only those born on one side of a river facing off against those from the other. Where the goals are not nets, but ancient watermills located miles apart, and the ball, a leather-bound cork sphere, can be carried, kicked, or wrestled through streets, fields, and even rivers. Picture hundreds, sometimes thousands, of participants, not professional athletes, but local residents, office workers, shopkeepers, all united in a single, chaotic, deeply ingrained pursuit. This isn't some speculative vision of a future gladiatorial contest. It is a vivid, living tradition played out annually in the unassuming English market town of Ashbourne, Derbyshire. For centuries, specifically since at least the 17th century, the Tuesday and Wednesday of Shrove or Pancake Week have seen Ashbourne erupt into the spectacle known as Royal Shrovetide football. This isn't a quaint reenactment. It is a full-blooded, no-holds-barred event that transforms the very fabric of the town. Roads are closed, shop windows boarded up, and the usual rhythm of daily life is utterly suspended, replaced by an ebb and flow of human bodies surging around a single, coveted ball. For anyone accustomed to the precise boundaries, strict timekeeping, and meticulously enforced rules of modern football, or indeed any contemporary sport, the scene in Ashbourne is nothing short of bewildering. It challenges every preconceived notion of what a game should be, pushing the limits of organized chaos to an extreme that feels almost primal. Yet, it is precisely this ancient, seemingly anarchic tradition that holds an astonishing, often overlooked, key to understanding the very foundations of the global sport we now call football. How could a game so devoid of formal structure, so reliant on unwritten codes and brute force, have any connection to the intricately regulated, multi-billion-dollar industry of the Premier League or the World Cup? This is the profound paradox at the heart of Ashbourne's Shrovetide football. It represents a living bridge to the formative, embryonic stages of a sport that has since conquered the world. It's a tangible link to a time before codified rules, before standardized pitches, before professional teams, when the essence of the game was pure, unadulterated competition, deeply rooted in local identity and communal spirit. For those who have ever marveled at the intricate passing plays of a modern match, or debated the nuances of offside rules, the story of Ashbourne invites a radical shift in perspective. It compels us to consider that the highly refined sport we know today did not spring fully formed from a single invention, but rather evolved from a myriad of rough-and-tumble, localized customs. What if the very concepts of teamwork, strategy, and even the fundamental act of propelling a ball towards a distant goal were first hammered out not in academic institutions or sports clubs, but in the muddy fields and cobbled streets of places like Ashbourne? This unique annual event offers a rare glimpse into the organic, often messy, process through which sport emerges from the fabric of community life, shaping and being shaped by the traditions that bind people together. It forces us to confront the idea that the seemingly chaotic origins of a global phenomenon might hold more profound lessons about its enduring appeal than any neatly written rulebook. Our journey into Ashbourne's Royal Shrovetide football will not merely recount a curious historical oddity, but rather explore how this enduring local tradition inadvertently, yet profoundly, laid down some of the earliest unwritten building blocks for the sport that now captivates billions worldwide. Beneath the apparent free-for-all of Ashbourne's Royal Shrovetide football lies a fascinating blueprint for the emergence of structured sport. While modern football is defined by its precise regulations, the Ashbourne tradition, conversely, reveals how the very impulse for rules began as an organic response to the inherent challenges of large-scale communal play. Consider, for instance, the hug, that dense, swirling mass of humanity surrounding the ball. Far from being random, this collective movement represents an early, intuitive form of strategic collaboration. It's a primal expression of team dynamics, where individual effort is subsumed into a singular, overwhelming drive to advance the ball. This contrasts sharply with the individualistic pursuits often seen in less organized activities. Here, the goal is achieved through an almost geological pressure of bodies, hinting at the future development of coordinated offensive and defensive lines, albeit in a far more refined state. Furthermore, the game's unique spatial definition offers profound insight into the genesis of the playing field. Though the entire town serves as the arena, The goals, the historic mills, are fixed, distant, and unyielding targets. This establishes an unequivocal objective, transforming a boundless environment into a directed journey. This inherent sense of purpose, of moving a specific object towards a designated mark, laid down a fundamental principle that would later be codified into the rectangular pitches and fixed goalposts of modern football. It demonstrates that even in the absence of painted lines or boundary ropes, the concept of a defined scoring area and the pursuit of it was paramount, providing a foundational element upon which all subsequent spatial rules would be built. Moreover, the minimal nature of Shrovetid's rules, primarily prohibitions against homicide or concealing the ball, illuminates a crucial stage in legal development. These aren't rules dictating how to play, but rather what not to do, reflecting an early societal need to prevent utter anarchy within fierce competition. This rudimentary framework of negative rules serves as a conceptual precursor to the elaborate positive rules that define modern football, such as those governing passing, tackling, or offside. It suggests that the initial impulse for regulation wasn't about crafting elegant gameplay, but about ensuring basic survival and a modicum of fairness. The gradual evolution from these broad prescriptions to highly specific regulations reflects a maturing understanding of sportsmanship and the desire to create a more equitable and repeatable competitive environment. Building on this, the deeply ingrained local rivalry between the upards and downards highlights another vital component in the formation of codified sports, the concept of fixed teams. This division, determined by one's birthplace relative to the Henmore Brook, transcends mere affiliation. It's an immutable aspect of identity that dictates one's side in the game. This inherent, almost tribal binary opposition provided a clear, consistent structure for competition, a stark contrast to more fluid or ad hoc groupings. This fundamental principle of two distinct, opposing sides, each striving for victory, directly informed the development of formalized team structures in later sporting codes. It demonstrates how a pre-existing social division could be harnessed to create a compelling, enduring competitive framework, laying the groundwork for the club and league systems that dominate contemporary sports. Consequently, when public schools and universities in 19th century England began to grapple with the challenge of standardizing rules for interinstitutional matches, it was these diverse, unwritten traditions of folk football, of which Ashbourne is a prime, enduring example, that provided the raw material. They weren't inventing a game from scratch. Rather, they were distilling and refining principles already present in local customs. The Ashbourne hug, for instance, with its emphasis on collective progress, offered a conceptual basis that could be adapted into rules concerning scrums, rucks, or even the general flow of play in different football variants. The clear, distant goal, though vast, provided the essential notion of a definite objective. Thus, the Ashbourne game, with its unique blend of chaos and underlying structure, stands as a living testament to the organic, community-driven origins of football, showcasing how local traditions provided the foundational grammar from which the complex syntax of modern sporting codes would ultimately emerge. Reflecting on this journey through Ashbourne's enduring spectacle, one begins to discern a deeper narrative unfolding beneath the vibrant chaos. What initially presents as a historical curiosity, an anachronism in our hyper-regulated world, reveals itself as a powerful lens through which to comprehend the very essence of competitive human endeavor. It is not merely a game preserved in amber, but a living testament to the organic, often tumultuous, process by which the foundational elements of sport were first forged. The sheer scale and raw energy observed annually in this Derbyshire town compel us to reconsider the origins of concepts we now take for granted within the global athletic arena. The profound resonance of Ashbourne's tradition lies in its demonstration that the impulse for structured play did not spring from an arbitrary decree, but rather coalesced from communal needs and inherent rivalries. We observe how the drive for a shared objective, even across vast, undefined terrain, inherently shaped collective action, fostering an intuitive form of strategic alignment long before diagrams and tactical boards existed. This primal urge to collectively move an object towards a distant, fixed point speaks volumes about the human inclination towards goal-oriented activity, laying down a fundamental pattern that would echo through countless future iterations of competitive sport. It underscores that the very notion of a score or a win was not an invention, but an emergent property of organized interaction. Moreover, the minimal yet critical boundaries imposed on such a widespread engagement, the implicit understanding of what constituted permissible conduct within the fervent fray, illuminates the nascent stages of legal and ethical frameworks within competition. These unwritten codes, born from necessity and communal agreement, were the conceptual ancestors of the meticulously detailed rulebooks that govern modern sports. They illustrate a fascinating progression. From broad prohibitions designed to maintain a semblance of order amidst intense passion, to the intricate regulations that now seek to ensure fairness, safety, and a reproducible competitive experience. It suggests that the quest for a level playing field, far from being a recent innovation, is a deeply embedded aspiration within the human spirit of contest. Drawing these strands together, we see that the vibrant tapestry of contemporary sport, with its global reach and intricate nuances, finds some of its oldest and most resilient threads woven into the fabric of localized customs like Ashbourne's. The distinct, almost tribal, division of participants, an inherent aspect of community identity, provided a potent crucible for the development of team structures. This enduring binary opposition, rooted in geographical belonging, offered a natural framework for sustained rivalry, a critical ingredient for the evolution of organized leagues and competitions. It underscores how social constructs, deeply embedded in local culture, provided the initial scaffolding upon which the more universal structures of modern athletics would eventually be erected. As we pivot towards the final reflection, it becomes abundantly clear that the seemingly chaotic spectacle in Ashbourne is far more than a historical footnote. It is a powerful reminder that the sophisticated athletic endeavors of today are not isolated creations, but rather the cumulative refinement of centuries of human ingenuity, adaptation, and communal expression. The enduring spirit of Shrovetide football whispers a profound truth, that the fundamental elements of what makes sport so compelling, the collective drive, the pursuit of a defined objective, the negotiation of rules, and the thrill of intergroup rivalry, were not engineered in a vacuum. Instead, they organically emerged from the very heart of communities, shaped by traditions that, like ancient rivers, carved out the initial contours of a landscape that would eventually become globally recognizable. This ancestral game, therefore, stands as a compelling testament to the deep historical currents that continue to flow beneath the polished surface of modern sport, inviting us to appreciate the rich, multifaceted heritage that underpins our contemporary passions. The journey through Ashbourne's enduring spectacle has been more than a mere historical detour. It has been an excavation into the very bedrock of organized human play. We have witnessed how, within the seeming anarchy of Royal Shrovetide football, the raw elemental forces that drive all competitive endeavor were already powerfully at work. This isn't simply about how a leather ball is moved from one point to another. It's about the innate human drive to define objectives, to forge collective effort, and to channel primal energies into a shared, albeit fiercely contested, pursuit. The sprawling, town-wide arena of Ashbourne embodies a fundamental truth. Before the lines were painted and the whistles blown, the very spirit of the game was already alive, pulsating through the communal body, demonstrating that the essence of sport lies in its unscripted, visceral engagement. This ancient ritual, therefore, transcends its local confines to offer a universal lesson. It reveals that the enduring fascination with sport is rooted not solely in its modern refinements or commercial spectacle, but in something far deeper, a primal urge for challenge, for identity forged through affiliation, and for the communal release of shared tension and triumph. The upards and downards, locked in their timeless struggle, embody the very essence of opposing forces, a fundamental dynamic that has been meticulously refined into the team sports we cherish today. Their hug, that swirling vortex of human will, speaks to the profound power of collective action, demonstrating that true strategic depth can emerge organically from the unified intent of many individuals, long before formal tactics were conceived. In a world increasingly defined by precision and control, Ashbourne stands as a vibrant counter-narrative, reminding us that profound structures and enduring impact can emerge from unexpected places, from practices that defy conventional logic. It challenges us to look beyond the rulebook and the meticulously manicured pitch, inviting us to see the echoes of ancient struggles in every modern contest. The unwavering passion of the Shrovetide players, Their profound commitment to a game that demands immense physical and mental fortitude without promise of professional glory highlights the intrinsic reward of participation itself. This isn't about fame or fortune. It's about belonging, about upholding a revered legacy, and about the sheer, unadulterated joy of the contest, a pure embodiment of competitive spirit. The Ashbourne tradition, therefore, serves as a powerful testament to the resilience of cultural heritage and its profound, often unacknowledged, influence on global phenomena. It underscores that the grand narratives of human achievement are frequently built upon the unassuming foundations of local custom and communal spirit. Modern football, with all its global reach and intricate complexity, owes an unspoken debt to these rough-hewn, foundational games, which provided the raw material and the fundamental human impulses that would eventually be codified and celebrated worldwide. Ultimately, Royal Shrovetide football offers more than a historical curiosity. It provides a vital philosophical anchor. It teaches us that while rules and structures are essential for scaling and standardizing sport, the beating heart of the game resides in something far more elemental: the shared human desire to compete, to belong, and to strive together towards a common, albeit challenging, objective. It is a powerful reminder that beneath the polished veneer of professional athletics, the primal, unvarnished spirit of play, honed over centuries in places like Ashbourne, continues to drive our collective fascination. The true practice, then, for anyone seeking to understand sport's enduring power, begins not just on the grandest stages, but in recognizing these deep, resonant echoes of our shared past, understanding that the game's ultimate appeal lies in its fundamental connection to who we are and who we have always been.